everyone, welcome back to the channel, G-Man Aviation, and in today's video we'll be looking at another one of the PMDG products for Microsoft Flight Simulator, which today is the 737-600. Now, if you remember from before, I showed off the 737-800s, one of the variants that you get from it, which was the BBJ. Today we'll be looking at the 737-600. Now, I've had this add-on for a good amount of time now. I've had it for about a year and a half. So just looking at it, you can see I bought it for $34.99, and you can just see it looks, from the inside, it looks basically the same as the 800, but definitely will be shorter. So I will show you that in a second once we get into the flight simulator. But yeah, so yeah, $34.99 still available on the PMDG store. This is actually the first 737 I got. And then I got the 800. So yeah, so let's get into the flight simulator. So here we are in the flight simulator, and this is the 737-600. As you can see, if we come back on over to Google, you see the 737-600 was first launched by SAS. As you can see, we have that here with the SAS Scandinavian Airlines, which, as you can see here on the tail, this is the first airline to use the 737-600 when it was built. But as you can see, it was built a fairly good. I mean, it was not that long ago, March 1995, and the last one was actually delivered to WestJet in 2006. As you can see, we're here just at a remote stand, and we're just at Midway. So I take a look into the cockpit of the 737-600. You'll notice that it looks kind of like the 737-800, and that's because it is the same cockpit as usual. I mean, that's the main thing with 737s. They're usually the same cockpit as the same with the 737. Basically, it has a lot of switches, like even all the way up here, all of these up here, all these switches work. Now, that's why the 737-600 is definitely a good plane to get, a good add-on plane to get if you are not wanting to spend that much on an add-on, because it's only $34, and you get the main features of the PMDG. So as you can see, we have all the same actions as the 737-800 has, or any other 737s you see. We have all the doors are operable. As you can see right here, we have our stairs here, even the cargo doors. Everything is the same basically for the 737-800. If you want a PMDG experience with cheaper, you can get this plane. Now, the only problem with this plane is there's just so little airlines fly it, so there's rarely any livery. So we have the Scandinavian Airlines, and we also have a couple Southwest Airlines ones, of course, all included in PMDG. So the main thing, if you're looking from the outside view, is you'll notice that the 737-600 is much smaller than the 737-800. Like, you can see the back of it ends here when the 800 ends, like, back here. It's much shorter. So that's the main reason these planes were made, because they can land at shorter runways, which we will be testing later. We'll be doing some runway testing, but they are good at short, tiny distance, easy to land on short runways. So that's why this plane was mainly produced, and that's why Scandinavian Airlines used it a lot. So we're going to take a look at the inside of the 737-600, and as you can see, we're just going to go into the drone camera. Coming in, so just walking into the front of the plane, as you can see, we have our beautiful stairs out from PMDG. So once we have to kind of fiddle around with the camera, the drone camera in Microsoft. So from the inside of the plane, you can see we have our cockpit door and all of the main things you'd have in your plane. So you have, there we go. So you can see this is the inside of the 737-600. It has basically the same screens, which is actually different. The 737-600, if you remember with the 737-800, or the BBJ, which is basically the same as this plane. I don't know but the screens on the normal regular 737-800 look much newer than this, and that's very realistic because these screens look old, and that's just because this plane is old. So, as you can see, just coming down the hallway of the plane, you can see we have the back galley, and we also have it's very short. It can only carry a smaller amount of passengers, but still a good amount of passengers. But yeah, so this is the 737. We can see if there's a bathroom on here. I don't think there is. There isn't one on the 737-800. Yeah, no, there are no bathrooms. But yeah, so unlike one thing that you don't get with the 737-600 compared to the 800 is, as I showed off in another video, we had the BBJ and the cargo variant, and it gave you, the second you bought the 737-800, you got a bunch of variants, like 3 of them, like cargo, like private jet, and the airline one. And because this plane is so barely used, we only have the airline model, because I don't think it was made in any other model. So we only have the airline one. That's the thing you have when it's cheaper, but you only get one variant. So keep that in mind. If you try to buy this, you won't get all the other ones unless you buy the 737-800. I think also the 737-700 on PMDG. They also have the BBJ models. So but yeah, so this is the outside of the 737-600. Much smaller. That's really the main difference of the entire thing. Kind of slightly different engines, but they still have almost the same performance as the 737-800. They're smaller in the slightest, but yeah, so we're gonna go and runway test the 737-600. Let's do it. So as you can see, we are in the 737-600. We are flying currently. And I can definitely tell if you have come from the 737-800, it feels much, not smoother, but it feels much easier to fly. It's easier to maneuver just because it's shorter. And of course, PMDG does a wonderful job of making the add-on with the physics. The physics of it is very realistic. So as you can see in front of us, we are coming into St. Bartholomew. I know that's a really short runway, and this plane would never fly there. But St. Bartholomew now, the plane is freaking out because of terrain. But we have replay mode on, so we'll be able to see how smooth I can land it. But we are going to try to just land it perfectly. We want to get it stopped. That's our main goal here. So we are coming in St. Bartholomew now. We have touchdown, full on the brakes, full on the reverse thrust, full power to everything. We are stopping. Over the hill, but not too bad. So of course the 737 can't land in St. Bartholomew. It was a very hard test that went for the plane. Let's see the replay mode. We can see how close I was to how good the landing was. So here we are on the outside view. This is from the replay mode. So let's see, we came in really low, basically almost touching the water, and touchdown. That was honestly not a bad landing. So yeah, as you can't see it in the replay mode, but I am going reverse thrust here. And yeah, you can just see we just did not have enough time, and then we just flew out the runway. Thanks for watching the video, hope you enjoyed it, and thank you all for watching, have a great day.